The video started with a scream. Daniel watched in silence as the old file played on the flickering screen. It showed a young girl, Kira, strapped to a metal table. Her face was softer, untouched by war. She was crying, begging, "Please, I don't want this. I just want to go home." The scientist's voice was calm. "Increase the serum dosage. Begin phase 3. Kira screamed louder. Her body arched, her skin lit up with strange veins. And then, the camera shut off. Daniel closed the file. His hands trembled. This wasn't just a soldier's mission. It was torture. Earlier that day, he had broken into the Level 4 archive room. It wasn't easy. He had stolen a clearance badge and lied about his orders. He knew it was dangerous. If they caught him, they'd erase him. But he had to know the truth about Kira. She wasn't born a monster. She was made. Kira sat in her glass room, watching the lights shift on the walls. She no longer slept. When she closed her eyes, she heard screams. Sometimes her own, sometimes others. She heard footsteps. Daniel appeared again. He didn't smile this time. He looked different, tired, hurt. "Kira," he said gently. "Do you remember how it began?" She looked at him. "They told me it was for peace, that my body could help end the war, that I was the only one." Daniel nodded. "They lied. To you." That night, Daniel couldn't keep the truth to himself. He told her everything he read about Project Salvation, about how Earth's leaders found her planet peaceful, quiet, rich in bioenergy. They wanted to control it. But instead of asking for help, they kidnapped Kira, the chieftain's daughter. They tested her, modified her DNA with Earth's advanced nanotech, enhanced her strength, speed, and reflexes. At first she failed. Her body rejected the serum. She nearly died. But they didn't stop. They pushed harder, until she became what they wanted. A living weapon. Kira sat still, but her hands curled into fists. Her voice was cold now. "I remember the first time they made me fight. It was a test. They put 3 alien prisoners in a room with me. I didn't want to hurt them." She looked up, but something inside me moved on its own. Like I wasn't in control anymore. When I woke up, the floor was red. Daniel didn't speak. He couldn't. His throat was tight. "They cheered," she whispered. "They told me I did well." Daniel reached for her hand through the glass. "You are not what they made you." Kira stared at him. "But what if it's too late?" He shook his head. "It's never too late to choose." For the first time, Kira stood up and walked closer to the glass. Her golden eyes locked with his. "Then, help me remember who I was before all this." Outside the room, hidden cameras watched them. A voice crackled through a cum. "Subject Kira is becoming emotionally unstable. The human is interfering with her programming. Prepare her for reconditioning." Another voice replied, "If she breaks protocol again, we activate Omega mode." Later that night, Daniel returned to his bunk. A message blinked on his compat. "Confidential notice. You are ordered to report to Central Command. Immediate review." His heart dropped. They knew. Back in her room, Kira sat with the flower Daniel had given her. It was starting to wilt. She touched its petals gently, and for the first time in months, she wept. She wasn't supposed to dream. But that night, Kira did. In her dream, she stood on a green hill under a violet sky. Her feet were bare. The wind smelled like rain. Children ran past her, laughing. One of them a girl with silver hair called her name, Kira. And then the sky turned red. The children vanished. And her hands were covered in blood. Kira woke up screaming. Alarms blared. Emergency lights turned the white walls red. Inside her cell, Kira crouched in the corner, her body shaking. Her heartbeat was too fast, her breathing too loud. Something inside her had snapped. She didn't know why, she just knew. She couldn't stop it. Her body began to change. In the control room, scientists shouted orders. "She's going critical. Restraints won't hold. She's entering phase Omega." The general stormed in. "Activate the neural suppressor." A technician stammered. "It's not working. She's overriding it on her own." Daniel wasn't supposed to be there, but when he heard the alarm, he ran straight to her room. 2 guards tried to stop him. He shoved past them. He knew she needed him. As he reached the glass wall, he froze. Kira stood in the center of the room, but she didn't look like herself. Her skin glowed red. Strange black markings pulsed along her arms. Her claws were fully extended. Her eyes were glowing like twin suns. She was breathing like an animal, cornered. But Daniel didn't see a beast. He saw someone in pain. He stepped forward. "Kira, It's me, Daniel. Her head snapped toward him. She growled. The guards aimed their weapons. Step back, soldier. That's not her anymore. But Daniel didn't move. She's still in there. The guards shouted again, but Daniel ignored them. He placed his hand on the glass. Kira, listen to me. You're not what they turned you into. You're more. Her claws twitched. Her glowing eyes blinked. Slowly, she stepped closer to the glass. Her breathing slowed. Then she fell to her knees. The red light faded. Her claws retracted, and she cried. The guards lowered their guns. In the control room, one officer whispered. He stopped her, just by speaking. The general clenched his jaw. This bond is a problem. Shut down all interaction. No more contact. But it was too late. Later, they dragged Daniel away. You've interfered with classified assets. A voice said. He didn't resist. He just asked one question. Why are you doing this to her? The officer's voice was cold. Because she works. She wins wars. She's not a person. She's a result. Daniel shook his head. No, she's the cost. In the dark room, Kira sat with her head down. She had been sedated again. Locked, tighter, watched closer. But she remembered one thing before the drugs hit her. His voice. You're more. It echoed inside her, and somewhere deep within her broken body. The girl who loved the stars. The girl who danced in rain. She woke up. Again. The rain fell hard on the black glass of the military tower. Inside. The generals sat around a circular table, cold faces lit by holographic war maps. No one spoke until the red icon blinked on the screen. Target. Zone 73 breach. Civilian loss. High. One man leaned forward. Send the girl. Another hesitated. She's unstable. The general didn't blink. She doesn't need to be stable. She just needs to win. In the lower levels, Kira sat, chained in silence. Her arms were bound, not with metal, but with neural suppressors that tightened every time her heartbeat rose. She could barely breathe. Footsteps approached. Daniel. He was bruised, tired, but still standing. Kira looked up, her voice weak. Why are you here? They told me. No more visitors. Daniel knelt beside her. I don't care what they told me. I had to see you. She blinked slowly. What did they say? His jaw tightened. They want to send you into the war zone. Again. Kira didn't react, not at first. Then, a whisper. If I go back out there, I won't come back. Flashbacks hit her like fire-burning fields. Alien screams. Her own hands breaking bones. Blood, smoke. Cheers from humans watching on screens. Good girl, they had said. You're perfect. But she wasn't perfect. She was breaking. Daniel stood. You don't have to do this. I'll fight this order. I'll talk to command. Kira gave him a tired smile. You'll lose. They don't see me as a person. He stepped closer, his voice rising. But I do. And for a moment, just once, she looked like a girl again. That evening, Daniel burst into the command chamber. You're sending her to die. The general didn't flinch. She's a military asset. Nothing more. She saved my life. Daniel shouted. She stopped the transformation. She chose mercy. The general stood. Exactly. That's the problem. She hesitated. She's glitching. That makes her unreliable. She's not glitching, Daniel said. She's remembering who she is. The general leaned close. And if you interfere again, you'll be reassigned. Off-world. Do you understand, soldier? Daniel clenched his fists. But he nodded. For now, the next day, Kira was moved. No goodbye, no warning, just to guards and silence. They loaded her into a drop pod and shot her into the sky. Toward the battlefield. Toward death. Zone 73 was chaos. Alien rebels had taken over an old mining colony. The terrain was sharp and broken. Smoke filled the air. When Kira landed, the rebels ran in fear. She didn't speak. She didn't hesitate. She moved like lightning. Faster than bullets. Stronger than tanks. She was everything they wanted her to be. But halfway through the mission, something happened. Kira came upon a small shelter. Inside. A child. An alien girl. Trembling. Unarmed. Crying. Kira raised her hand. Claws ready. The girl whispered, "Please don't." Kira's hand shook. Then slowly she lowered it. She knelt beside the child. Her body still glowed, still dangerous. But her face was soft again. "I'm sorry," she whispered. And she turned away. Back at HQ, the footage played on screens. The general slammed his fist on the table. She disobeyed. Another officer whispered, "She spared a child." The general growled, "That makes her weak." We end this. She should have followed orders. That's what they told her. You hesitated. You let the target live. You're broken. Kira sat alone in a dark chamber beneath the facility. No lights, no sounds. Just cold metal and the echo of her own thoughts. Her wrists were chained. Her mind was fogged. The serum in her blood boiled beneath her skin. But still, she stayed still, because that child had looked like someone. Someone from a dream. Someone she couldn't name. Daniel watched the footage over and over again. He saw Kira kneel before the alien child. He saw her show mercy, and he knew that wasn't weakness. That was strength. But Command didn't agree. The new orders came down fast. Subject Kira is to be reconditioned. That meant pain, needles, memory wipes. Maybe worse. Daniel couldn't let that happen. Not again. He stormed into the research wing, pushing past armed guards. I want to see her, he said. You're off the case, the officer replied coldly. Subject Kira failed her mission. She no longer qualifies as a stable asset. She's not an asset. Daniel shouted. She's a person. The officer leaned forward. Not anymore. Inside her chamber, Kira's breathing was shallow. They had injected her with something new, something stronger. Her thoughts were slipping. Her memories faded like smoke. Her name, her planet, her mother's voice, all vanishing. She whispered Daniel's name, but no one heard. Until suddenly, a door slammed open, and Daniel stood. There he didn't have clearance. He didn't have backup. All he had was fire in his eyes. The two guards tried to stop him. They failed. He stepped up to her, dropped to his knees, and grabbed her hand. I'm here, he said. I found you. Her eyes fluttered open. For a second, she smiled. Behind them, alarms began to scream. Security lockdown. Voice over intercom. Unauthorized access. Intrusion detected. Eliminate the soldier. Prepare subject Kira for reset. Daniel pulled out a small device, a stolen data chip. He plugged it into the wall. Suddenly, the screens around them came alive, showing everything. The secret files. The torture videos. The transformation logs. Across the base, personnel stopped, watched, listened. Everyone saw the truth. What they had done to her. What she had suffered. What she still remembered. Kira blinked, trying to focus. Her chains loosened. Her breath deepened, and slowly, her voice returned. Didn't fail, she whispered. I made a choice. The guards returned this time, armed for war. Daniel stood to defend her. But Kira rose first. Not as a weapon, not as a monster, but as herself. Glowing softly, eyes steady, heart clear. She stepped forward. No more cages. The walls shook. Red sirens screamed through the underground base. Boots slammed against metal floors. Soldiers shouted commands. Subject Kira has breached containment. Security protocol Omega is now active. But it wasn't a monster they were chasing. It was a girl trying to escape. Kira ran through the dim halls, her bare feet hitting the cold floor. Her skin still glowed faintly. The weaponized serum pulsing in her veins, but her mind was clear. Beside her, Daniel kept pace. He held a stolen pulse rifle, breathing hard. They didn't talk. There was no time. They only had one goal. Get out. Behind them, a team of elite guards gave chase. They're heading for Subdeck 7. Don't shoot the girl in, lest she turns. Up ahead, a heavy blast door began to close. Too late, they wouldn't. Make a. Kira skidded to a stop, turned around, and slammed her glowing fists into the wall panel. Sparks flew. Circuits melted. The door stopped just long enough. Go, she shouted. Daniel grabbed her wrist and pulled her through. The escape route was a nightmare of fire, smoke, and collapsing ceilings. This part of the base wasn't finished, abandoned after earlier attacks. Twisted metal, broken pipes, total chaos, perfect for hiding, perfect for getting lost forever. They paused in a ruined corridor, breathing hard. Daniel looked at her. You okay? Kira nodded. Barely. I can feel it. The serum, it wants control. The closer we get to freedom, the louder it gets. He touched her face. Then I'll speak louder. She smiled weakly. Then her eyes widened. Behind him, movement, fast, too quiet. An assassin unit. The cybernetic soldier leaped from the shadows, blades glowing. Daniel turned to shoot, but it was too fast. Kira moved first. She roared a roar that shook the walls. Her body lit up brighter than ever before. Her claws returned, her spine extended with glowing plates. She slammed into the assassin with inhuman force. Metal crunched. Sparks flew. Silence. When it was over, She stood over the broken remains, breathing hard, shaking her arms. Dripping with blood, she looked at Daniel. I didn't mean to, but he didn't step back. He stepped forward and wrapped his arms around her. You saved me. Again, she trembled in his arms. I'm losing myself. No, he said softly. You're fighting for yourself. They kept going. Past broken labs, past locked doors. Until at last they saw it. The outer gate. The surface. The stars. Freedom. Then the final warning hit their ears. Security protocol, final strike. Railgun activated. Daniel looked up. A massive cannon was locking onto the gate. If it fired, it would bury them forever. Kira turned to him. Her voice was calm. I'll hold it off. No, he said. We go together. She shook her head. If we both go, we both die. Daniel grabbed her hand. There has to be another way. Kira looked up at the cannon and smiled. I was made to survive. Let me finally choose what I survive for. She stepped forward. Her body lit up one last time. Her voice echoed through the chamber. I'm not your weapon. I'm not your property. I am not your monster. Then she jumped. Straight into the railgun chamber. A white explosion filled the sky. The base shook off. Silence followed. Daniel crawled out of the rubble. Alone, but alive, he looked at the stars and whispered, please, be out there. The war ended. But not because of peace. It ended because too many stopped believing in what they were fighting for. Daniel returned to Earth alone. His name was cleared. He was told he could stay in the military or walk away. He chose to walk. They gave him medals, fake words, and silence about Kira. The official report said she was lost during extraction. But Daniel knew the truth. She chose to save him, and he didn't believe she was gone. Not truly. Years passed. Daniel worked in the outer zone's quiet repair work, helping rebuild old colonies destroyed during the war. People called him a hero, but every night, he looked at the stars, wondering if she was out there, if somehow, some part of her had survived. Then one day, it came, a signal, just a pulse. Simple, soft, ancient alien code. 3 dots, 2 lines, 1 word, hope. Daniel stared at the screen for a long time. He didn't speak. He didn't move. Then he smiled. He took a ship and followed the signal deep into uncharted space. Weeks passed. Fuel low, supplies thin. But he didn't stop until finally he found it. A hidden moon wrapped in mist and light. The signal grew stronger, and there in the middle of a silver forest, under a sky of violet clouds she stood. Not a monster, not a weapon, just Kira. Her hair longer, her eyes softer. No chains, no glow, just her. Free. Daniel stepped out of the ship. Neither spoke. She walked to him slowly. When she was close enough, she placed a hand on his chest and whispered, "You believed." He nodded, and he came back. She nodded then. Finally she smiled. They didn't need to say more, because sometimes, when someone sees the real you, even when you're broken, even when you've been used, it saves you. Not all wars are won with weapons. Some are won by those who simply refuse to stop seeing the human inside the monster.